When Gary Reynolds was born in 1943, the population of Fishers, Indiana could fit inside the Indiana Historical Society's Basile Theater.
I came from a small town, Fishers, Indiana. My grandfather bought that land in Fishers, around 500 acres off of Butler University, back in 1936. We started there as dairy farmers.
One of the things Gary always bragged about was he graduated in the top 10 of his class. And I said, Gary, how many were in your class? And he said, I think 18.
We were raised on the farm until I was about 12 years old and enjoyed every aspect of farm. And then my dad went into a business that related close to farming, selling farm equipment. My parents were the best. They were faithful people. And I still think to be successful, that doesn't hurt at all.
With his parents Mac and Arlene leading the way, Reynolds Farm Equipment grew from its humble 1955 beginnings. After college and a 6-year stint in the National Guard, Gary came on board full-time in 1969, working in sales. And when he eventually bought the company from his father, he had his eyes on the future.
It was an evolution for John Deere to be in the lawnmower business. That's the last thing when we became a dealer in 1955 that we thought we'd ever be selling. I know my dad has said many times, we won't be selling lawnmowers. That's for the hardware store. Well, guess what? Now it's a big part of our business.
Now, with 6 locations throughout Indiana, Reynolds Farm Equipment has grown far beyond just farm equipment. And in 2018, Reynolds was named Farm Equipment Magazine's North American Dealer of the Year.
And it has to do with taking chances, embracing things that I think other dealers didn't, was the used equipment business. Could be the Achilles heel of the equipment world. I mean, you can get several $1 million wrapped up in used. And we took a different approach that we were going to embrace used.
Although he may not have known it at the time, Gary's open mind and management style made for a solid foundation of both growth and customer satisfaction.
One of our core values that we still operate on today is make decisions like an owner. And Gary has instilled that for 27 years that I've been there, and probably forever. But empowering your people to just take care of other people, whether that's a customer issue. There's more times than not, Gary would get upset if you just didn't do the right thing.
Gary also applies his personal philosophy to community giving and involvement.
He's a very caring and generous person. He's shown that just in his life. In fact, at the 4-H fair, our church has a tenderloin tent. And Gary's back there in the middle of the tenderloin tent, and he's frying tenderloins and making sure everything's connected and making sure everything's flowing.
What he does for the community, it's not one thing. I mean, we're involved in the school systems, in 4-H, Conner Prairie, the church, every little league you could think of.
Years ago, and I'm thinking maybe the 70s or 80s, Gary thought it'd be a good idea if we did fireworks for the city of Fishers. Now the city does it. He just did that for the community. He just thought that would be fun.
I mean, to me, Reynolds is kind of an iconic brand in Indiana. I'm proud if I have, the Reynolds shirt on after work or going somewhere that, I mean, I can be anywhere in central Indiana and they'll say, oh, is that the one in Fishers? Is that the one with the Christmas lights?
My dad always liked Christmas lights, and one year I thought I would do something for him and decorate a tractor. And so we decorated a couple. The next year, it was a few more, and then first thing you know, now you got a lot full of decorated pieces of equipment.
It got so popular that they had to have police out there to direct traffic because it would be backed up on 37, and of course, he never charged a dime for the light show.
Gary credits the way he gives to his wife, Cindy, who passed away earlier this year.
In a way, she taught me a lot of things that I want to do in the next years I've got, months, days, years. She taught me how to give and do it unpretentiously. And that's what I want to continue to do.
He's helped people have a better life, directly or indirectly. I think he's just been an inspiration to a lot of people.
But the big thing Gary's taught me with that, it's not that you got the spoils, it's what do you do with the spoils. It's one thing to be successful, but what do you do with it?
These days, Reynolds Farm Equipment is in good hands. With his daughter Angela now in charge of the company, Gary has time for grandchildren and great-grandchildren. And as for any unchecked boxes on his list,
I'm going to have to leave it up to the good Lord to check it off. That's the check mark I want. I just have to leave it up to him to say, good job, well done, servant, and that's what I want.